everybody. You already know it's Matt from CasualRiders, and I'm broadcasting to you live from my garage. And well, I got the vid. It's been about a week since I found out that I have COVID-19, and well, obviously, as it goes, I haven't been on the bike. I was forced to quarantine, and yeah, it's miserable, guys. It is really miserable. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right. I don't see a lot of people online yet, but I am checking on my laptop, so that's pretty much how it is. Yeah. If you want to help me out with this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. Every little bit to help the algorithm. If you want to drop something in the chat, just on the right hand side there, just smash it, a little comment, and I will drop you a message. This is quite a long-winded live stream today. I'm going to try and be online for a little bit and just catch up with you guys, see how things are going. Like I said, I caught COVID. It's quite a bit of a sad story. My fiance wasn't feeling too well early on last week Monday. Last week Monday, the Monday before. I can't even keep track of time. This is sad. She wasn't feeling so good, and 2 Mondays ago, and she wasn't feeling well. But I mean, she'd been struggling with similar issues with her allergies for quite a bit of time. So what happened is she just started developing more aggressive symptoms from what her norm is, and so we kind of didn't notice that she was starting to display typical COVID symptoms, because it's something that she's been living with for the past couple of months now, actually for the past couple of years. And basically we kind of let it fall under the radar, and I obviously caught it from her. And 2 Fridays ago, I'd gone off to work and I was tired, but I hadn't been sleeping so well. So I sort of just displaced the symptom, because I haven't been sleeping well for the whole week, and it just let it carry on with my everyday. And I got home and I was still fine, didn't really have much of a sore throat or anything. Started developing a little bit of a headache, like at the back of my eyes. It was really frustrating, and I thought, okay, well, this is a bit strange. And then it just hit me. I instantly got like some sort of a fever, and I felt really horrible. I said to my fiance, listen, I'm gonna go to sleep. Like, this is super abnormal for me though, 7 o'clock on a Friday night, but I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go to bed. It turns out I was running a bit of a fever. The dogs are making noise. So yeah, I was running a bit of a fever, and well, I just started feeling really like tight in the chest, and it was difficult for me to breathe, and I started coughing, and got like a bit of a post-nasal, and I was like, yo, this is really horrendous, this is very abnormal for me. And we hadn't been in contact with anyone that we know of that had COVID. So the next morning I still felt absolutely horrible, and I said, right, we're getting in touch with our doctor, and we need to find out what needs to happen, what's the best course of action. And so my fiance got in contact with our doctor, a couple of a phone call, said, listen, this is what's happening, we're both having symptoms, this is what's going on. And the doctor says, have you been in contact with anybody? No, we haven't. He's like, well, I don't think you guys should get tested. And we said, well, look, we know that my fiance is living with these sort of symptoms all the time, but it's very abnormal for someone like me to just get it. And so we had a little bit more of a chat with the doctor, and eventually he says, well, you know what, maybe you should just go get checked. Let's do a test, let's take the precautions, and you guys need to isolate until you get your results. So anyway, I've phoned and found out to see, are they testing on weekends? What is the protocol? What's the situation? And we got tested. The test was okay. Now, I've been tested for COVID before with the nasal swab, so it wasn't much of a big deal for me. Unfortunately for my fiance though, her nostrils are quite small, so when they pushed the nasal swab up just into the nose, they couldn't get it past the bridge in the back into the nasal cavity. So she ended up having to do a saliva sample, which apparently is not as accurate, which is why they prefer to do the nasal swab in the first place. Anyway, we waited the 24 hours for the lab to get the results back, and the doctor phones us back and says, okay, you guys have tested positive for COVID and you guys need to quarantine for the next basically 2 weeks. And this is what you need to do. This is the medication I'm going to prescribe. And literally it has been nothing but cocktails of medication like you cannot believe. I just got a message in the chat. Hi Megan, we're doing well. Thank you very much. Thank you for checking in. Yeah, guys, it was really a bit of a rough experience. I mean, this medication is some really strong stuff in the sense that, like, you'll take the medication and 15 minutes later you're absolutely tired. And I mean, to add on to the fact that you're already not feeling well, you're running a bit of a temperature, you're hot and you're cold, and then you sometimes you can breathe perfectly fine. You can sit in bed and just lay there and you're fine, and then half an hour, 45 minutes later, you're struggling to breathe because your chest just feels tight and you feel like there's shortness of breath. It's really quite insane. So anyways, we just got this crazy dosage of medication, and we're very lucky that this was something, it was very minor for both my fiance and I. The fact that she's pretty much made a full recovery. She's actually well enough to go back to work tomorrow. And her and I are now isolating separately from each other. So that's pretty sucky, but we just got to wait out and wait for the time to pass, I guess. The big thing, of course, is I'm sitting on my bike doing this live stream because this is the closest I can be to actually getting out there and riding again. And it's literally been 9 days since I went into quarantine, and it's just miserable, just not being able to go out there and have my mental escape of getting on the bike and going out and riding is really just annoying. And I mean, when we went into level 5 lockdown in South Africa over a year ago, I was okay. I coped for the 5 weeks that we could not get out of the house at all. I coped pretty fine, but this time around it was just absolutely miserable. Every time you hear a motorbike going past on the street, the reality or the realization of I cannot go out there and ride while other people can. Oh, it's miserable. Like it's irritating. I really miss getting out there and riding and just feeling the wind blowing through my helmet and the sound and the adrenaline rush and just everything about being on the bike that hasn't happened is, it's really sad. And yeah, cabin fever is real, people. I think it's just absolutely dismal that I didn't get to go out there and ride. And on top of that, I wanted to make some really cool content. I'd just gone and put my new mirror on, and things are good, and then I come back with a positive COVID test, and being the responsible citizen was obviously a lot more important than just, hey, I'm going to get out there and go ride, and who cares what happens. You know, it takes quite a lot of commitment to be able to sit back and say, you know what, stay off the bike, stay out of public places, because you know you have something that is contagious and very bad to be spreading around the world with people that you may interact with or even don't interact with. I mean, like I said previously, my fiance and I were not in contact with anybody that we know of. We have not been able to trace contact of where we picked up this coronavirus. But here we are, both of us sitting with coronavirus, and we've got my elderly mother living in the same house as us. That you know, it's been a bit of a scare. We don't want to obviously spread it to her because she has a higher risk, and yeah, it is what it is. We've been pretty much isolated into our room because we can't go out in our own house. I mean, we've literally only seen the four walls of our bedroom, and I've seen the garage. Yeah. Guys, if you've just tuned in, please do me a favor, give this video a thumbs up. I mean, I know it's just a lousy live stream and it's a me checking in with you guys and saying, hey, this is what happened, but you know, it helps the YouTube algorithm, and I'm really trying to grow this channel, so I'd appreciate it. Something that I wanted to share with everybody that's out there, those of you that are still watching or that will be watching, is how much of a daunting thing this whole COVID virus, or this whole coronavirus thing, actually was. You know, the first thing that hits your mind is, okay, this is a deadly disease. What's going to happen? Where does that put my family and my friends? And then you kind of have to sit back and be luckily in the position that we were, is we had very, very mild symptoms. Practically the symptoms sort of come and go. For the most part, I've been okay. There's been 2 or 3 nights where I sit and I struggle to breathe, and I can feel like my chest is tight and I got a little bit of phlegm, but luckily with the right medication, able to mitigate the phlegm, able to bring it up, get rid of it. The shortness of breath stops as soon as the phlegm production stops, which is fantastic. I haven't really struggled with the sore throat, which is really good, because I believe that it's a really, like, when I've had the sore throat, it's really irritating. It's like super annoying as well. Like, I don't know how to describe it other than it's painful. It's not unbearably painful, but it hurts. And you know, it just, when those symptoms hit you, you sort of get to a point where you start thinking about all the what ifs. What if this goes hopelessly wrong? What happens if one of us ends up needing to go to hospital? What if this? What if that? And then you sort of take a step back and you look at it and try and make peace with it. And I mean, I've had other family members that had been rushed to hospital. In fact, in Gauteng, where the cases are 1,000 times worse than what they are currently in the Western Cape. Family members that got rushed to hospital, and they're sitting on a chair with oxygen because there's just no space in the hospitals, and it's overwhelming. It's intimidating. It's scary, and I mean, I know I'm a little bit rambly, but it's just one of those things where you really start to question everything that seems to be going on around you. And you know, this is something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, to be honest. It's got some scary consequences behind it, and you know, things turn, which is the scary thing. Is some people are like fine one day and then the next day they're just hopeless and they're not doing great, and it's just absolutely terrible for them. And well, yeah, it is. If you guys have just joined, I've got COVID-19. I was diagnosed with COVID-19 about a week and a half ago, and I've been in quarantine since. See another chat here from Jacques. Yes, we will be back on the road soon. I can't wait for it. In fact, my fiance and I have been talking the fact that South Africa's now gone into level 4 lockdown. We said that as soon as everything seems to quiet down and we're cleared to leave the house, we want to do a little bit of a road trip, and we want to share that with you guys, and you guys will, that haven't been introduced to my fiance, will be introduced to her. And now we're discussing maybe we should postpone it, because this thing is actually quite real, and we don't want to be going out there and spreading it around inadvertently. We don't want to be going into places and pretending like this isn't the third wave. The reality is we are here, and we want to be as responsible as we can in the process. Hi Michelle, thank you for your message. Yes, we are doing a lot better. If you haven't seen Monique, we'll be back at work from tomorrow, so that's that. And yeah, on top of that, once we get back on the road, I do have a couple of maintenance items on the bike that need to get done. I need to get my suspension serviced, which involves getting my rear suspension taken out and sent off to a third-party shop to get it rebuilt, which means I'm going to be without the bike again for a 2-week period of time in the near future. So I plan to get as much riding in as I possibly can over the next couple of weeks, so I can get some really good footage for you guys that I can share, and just take it from there. Guys, I'm super eager to get back on the bike, and if you have stuck around and watched this for the past 17 minutes, I really do appreciate it. My video was a little bit rambly, and I sort of lost track of where I was going, but thank you guys very much for tuning in and just catching up and being there for all the support. To all the friends and family and your constant checking in and seeing how things are, we really appreciate it. Because without you guys, this journey would have been a lot more difficult for us to go through. Really appreciate everything you guys are doing. I appreciate your support. Once again, give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, just hit that subscribe button. It's somewhere down here, I think. It doesn't cost you anything, so it just helps my channel grow a little bit more. And hopefully YouTube will recommend my videos to more people, which is really one of the big growth goals for this YouTube channel. Thank you very much for popping in. I really appreciate it. And until next time, ride safe.